Baseball.
When you've got a great ball club.
Baseball.
When you're leaving it all on the field.
Ooh, baseball.
To survive and advance in.
Baseball.
For the teams you love and the teams you love to hate. Oh, it's Sports Channel 8.
The Baseball Podcast.
Sports Channel 8.
The Baseball Podcast. Hey. Hey. Hey.
Darren. Oh, yes. He is dancing. I was hoping you would be. You always are.
Yeah. Oh, I was jotting down some notes. No big deal. I was like bobbing my head though. It's good. It's a good tune. Shout out Cooper Chunk and your random friend who interrupts them.
Yeah. It's great. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Thanks for joining us on this rendition, whatever you want to say, of Sports Channel 8, the Baseball Podcast. I said it the first time.
Edition.
I said it the first time.
You said edition.
I said edition, rendition, and audition.
Okay.
Check the tape, Max.
I'm sure
we
it's multiplied.
have tape. Are we taping this? Is it 1992?
Can you tape somewhere?
Is it?
It's being recorded.
There it is. There it is. That a boy.
Digitally.
But as always, thanks for everybody for joining us. I have something to add, it's because people can now add comments because I may or may not have logged into the Sports Channel 8 YouTube account and added it to the broadcast. So if you feel like hopping over there to add some comments,
someone please do that so I know how that works.
Yeah, it's we're live
throw that
on
up?
YouTube right now, huh?
Do you throw that up, Mark, or will we be able to see it?
Yes, I can. See. So our good friend Max Gongaware has added a comment, so I can indeed add it to the broadcast.
Shout out Max, loyal listener, P1 Max.
Yeah.
So if you want to be like Max,
Long time listener,
on
long time participant.
All right, so people can chime in. That's good. I was getting texts last time we did one of these being like, hey, I can't comment anywhere, but this is what I think of this. So that's a little harder to relay. Glad you figured that out.
Yeah, I'm still kind of curious why we can't have live comments on Twitter, but that's another topic for another day.
It's all good.
I don't foresee any changes coming to Twitter anytime soon, though. So I don't.
No, probably not. It's pretty stable from what I understand.
No way. People want it to be the exact same, right? Mm-hmm. Especially people with the money to control what Twitter is. Yeah.
So what's your name there, Mark? Is that your daughter's T-ball stats or?
Yeah. She as my daughter in a 5-year-old T-ball league is definitely pitching because that's how that works.
Is that your softball stats?
No, and I do in fact play in an adult old man league of softball, and I also do not pitch. So no.
Are you trying to give Albert Pujols credit for a save last
Yes,
night?
I am. That game was very much in question, if you didn't realize. It was 15-2 at the time of his entry into the game, and it quickly became 15-6.
Yeah,
he had to buckle down for that save. Okay.
Are you also tagging him with earned runs that he didn't give up? I thought he gave up 4 runs in an inning, which would make his ERA 36.
Sure, I don't know. I found the stat on some obscure website, so this could be very well wrong. It's close enough. Bottom line, ERA was bad.
All right, sure. We'll have to. Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna.
We'll come back to that. So anyway, We are, let's see now, just under a quarter of the way into the baseball season, as we come on to our fourth or fifth episode, whatever it's been. So I don't know. Don't really have much of an agenda other than let's just kind of talk about some baseball. Where I'm at right now with what I wanted to talk about was how we're doing on our predictions, because last week or 2 weeks ago we had Max with certain player that might be NL MVP one of these days.
Eric Hosmer. Nah, he's. I think
that was a
maybe
great
a little back to earth, but
rats.
But can we talk about? Okay, I want to talk about
the goal. I think
talk
the
about me.
goal
How's
for
Jose
Hosmer.
Ramirez doing?
I think the goal for Hosmer is much like Mark, your Adam Wainwright Cy Young pick of a year ago. If Hosmer can get a vote, that's a win. You won with that prediction, Max.
100%.
So,
Well, what's Steven Vogt up to?
Probably not much.
Maybe
What is he up to, Max? You probably know more than I do.
But if maybe the Padres could acquire him, and then in that case, he'll have gotten a vote. You know, I think that is the G silent in Steven Vogt. Maybe it's not. Do y'all know who I'm talking about?
I'm curious one day, and Max, if you were ever blessed with the opportunity to have children, if these dad jokes of yours will just overflow at that point because they're there already.
Oh, is Steven Vogt? Is he a dad?
can we hold on? No. We're gonna straighten some things out right away here. Okay. I hate that jokes became dad jokes. Right? They're not dad jokes. They're just jokes.
Thank you. That's
a dad hat. A dad hat? No. 10 years ago, that was just a hat. Mom jeans? No, they're just jeans.
No, you want to know the funny thing though? I saw one of his photos of himself at Durham Bulls Athletic Park
wearing mom jeans.
Wearing what I would have probably called a dad hat.
Sure,
but it was one of your OG Bulls hats, and I thought it was awesome.
Was it a dad hat?
I might would have considered it as such, but I thought it was cool. So
I probably acquired that hat when I was a child, which is like kind of not similar to being a dad, you know?
That's the real irony.
Yeah.
Anyways, totally the same. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about me because that's why I wanted to bring this up. Mike Trout, good at baseball. How's that prediction looking for you?
Your big prediction?
Hold on. I'm going to steamroll right through this too.
I'm not surprised, Darren.
Rather than talking about you accurately predicting that Mike Trout is good at baseball, we've got to name a new America's Team of Destiny.
Oh, yes, we do.
And with that in mind, it is undoubtedly currently the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Maybe not.
Depending on the year.
I mean, they are pretty fun. Anthony Rendon hit a left-handed home run.
He did.
On the same night.
And was listed as a switch hitter
the same night that Reed Detmers in his 11th major league start threw a no-hitter for them. And
they had two good things going for them that night.
Yeah. And it was like the Rendon moment was like he was piggybacking off of because the Rays are fun, right? Brett Phillips is fun, especially when he's pitching as a position player.
Well, I mean, remember G-Man Choi hit a right-handed home run last year, right?
Yeah. So Rendon was sort of taking the moment. They were up big, and he was like piggybacking on the Rays' fun, and that's next level fun. So,
also, like Anthony Rendon is not at the top, not like the type of guy I would have thought. Like, oh, he has a fun side to him. Like, I didn't see that coming.
Shohei, if you would have told me that Shohei would have switched batters boxes just for like shits and giggles, sure, 100%. Rendon definitely not the personality on that team that I would have pegged for that. So, I mean, yeah, they're fun. They're fun. They got the cowboy hats in the dugout, the home run celebration.
Classic Los Angeles tchotchke.
Yeah. Yeah, they're fun. They're fun. They're obviously good. They've got the two best players in the game in Trout and Ohtani. I love
I'm
their.
gonna call them the two best players in the game.
They are the two most talented baseball players on planet Earth.
Okay,
Mark.
there's a difference though between
I don't
between
think
those
there
two
is.
statements.
It's just
Yeah, I mean,
If you wanna make me
I might
stipulate
put
every
Hosmer in that conversation, but
Hey, very, very, hey, my name right here is giving shout out to the other best two-way player in baseball right now. It might be incorrect, but Albert Pujols pitched, so
Can we talk
confirmed
about
it's
how-
incorrect. I don't know where you got the 54 ERA. It's
I don't know.
36.
It's 36. Okay, I'll change it.
can we talk about how Albert Pujols pitched last night and the Cardinals will still never ever be a fun team?
Classiest team ever. Best
Yeah,
fans in
okay.
baseball.
I don't even know how to interpret that, Mark. I don't know what that means.
What means?
Either of the two things you just said. Classiest
No one
team,
knows.
best fans. What?
No one
what
knows.
does
It's
either
just
of those
everyone
mean?
says it. No one knows. I will get to find out for you in a couple of weeks what that's about.
That's right.
So, remind me, Max, or no, it was Darren. Darren, remind me, what kind of accent I should be prepared to hear when I show up to St. Louis in a couple of weeks. Do you
that's-
remember?
The pretentious St. Louis fan.
Yeah. What's it
Classiest team ever. Classiest team. Best fans in baseball. That's it.
sound? Nailed it.
We have fun winning, of course.
Paul DeYoung has really reconstructed his swing, and now he can hit for contact.
Paul DeYoung isn't even playing right now. Do you even watch baseball,
I
Max?
don't watch the Cardinals.
No, right? Although I did the other day, admittedly, they were on TV.
What, the Pujols game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
It
were
was
on,
on,
my TV.
it's on ESPN. You had to watch it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I
Could have been watching hockey.
I don't have to watch E
Basketball.
ESPN. I don't have to watch
The
baseball. but I
Hurricanes
do
weren't
a
playing
lot.
that night, so I think why would anyone else be watching hockey, Max?
Maybe I was a Hurricanes fan who was curious about who they would be playing in the next round.
In Max's defense, this is the time of year that I do get a little bit more interested in hockey teams not named the Canes, just because
Get behind that.
trying
See,
to.
but okay, not to totally talk about hockey here on a baseball podcast, but I love hockey, and I will do the same as you and watch other
love
teams
hockey.
besides the Canes throughout the playoffs until the Canes lose, and then I just lose all interest.
Yeah, sure.
That's a normal fan.
Is that normal? Okay.
Actually, speaking of which, shout out Brad Marchand. He was quoted earlier today. I actually just realized this. He was quoted earlier today. They were doing their end of season press availability, and he was apparently wearing a Ramones t-shirt. Somebody asked him who his favorite Ramone was, and he was like, "I got to be honest, I don't know who Ramone is." Singular. So he had no clue, right? And people are clowning on him for not knowing the band. This happens on a day where, no joke, I'm wearing a band tee that I got as part of like a mystery tee thing. I have no idea who Drab Majesty is, but it's a cool shirt.
Special
So
shout out.
I do think people are going to be less likely to come up to you and ask you who your favorite Drab Majesty is, though.
They
No.
might ask you who it is
it's
because I've never heard
true,
of them.
but there is a point to be made, and I hate defending Brad Marchand in any way, shape, or
And
form.
yet here you are doing it.
But I would argue it is possibly more punk rock to just wear a t-shirt and not know or care who it's for.
Is it my
I
turn
like
to
that.
steamroll over Darren? Because
Do it. Just
not
go ahead.
only have
Done.
we
I finished
now
the sentence. You're
defended
good.
the Houston Astros on many an occasion on this
Still
show,
do. I was watching them. They're on TV. They're on the MLB Network showcase game.
and now you're throwing Brad Marchand onto your list of people to defend. I just don't get it. Are these the people you're supposed to stand up for? The little guy, not these people that are cheating their way.
Brad
in life.
Marchand is a pretty
And-
little guy.
He's a little guy.
That's
So-
true.
I hate him. As a Canes fan, I hate him. But it was funny to see.
He's the
people
kind of
do
guy
that.
that if as a you know how those people that you say, yeah, I hate that guy, but I'd love to have him. Nope. wouldn't like to have him. Can't stand the way he plays. So, anyway.
I would. I'd probably like him if he was a Cane.
Sure. Why not?
Why not?
All right. Well, as per usual, I'm outnumbered, and
I mean, I don't know who you get rid of. You know,
they're just so damn good.
yeah. Who would you?
That's our Canes minute in.
No, that was
Yeah,
good. We
so
needed
today.
that. We needed that. That was good. All right, let's get us back on track here.
All right, back on track here. All right, this one's gonna be fun. So, Darren, I want you to set it up because you remembered the tweet, and I think it was actually your tweet about some overly used crutch phrases. So I'll let you set that up. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So Andrew Marchand, who covers sports media based in New
Brad.
York,
Perfect segue.
Marchand. Now you got me second guessing his name. Is his name? His name's Marchand too. I never realized that.
There we go. That was the tie-in. There's the tie-in. We did it.
I just did like a. Okay,
Would you
all right.
like, would
we
you
did a
like
radio.
Andrew
All right.
Marchand for the Raleigh News and Observer, or is he more of one of those guys that you'd say, you know, I wouldn't even want him?
You know what? He's not. He's not little enough for me to defend.
He doesn't cheat quite enough through his.
So, anyways, Marchand. This was during the NFL draft, so it's been quite some time. But during the NFL draft, Mike Greenberg, who is obviously going to be put on anything that ESPN airs ever, was hosting that, as he has done for like 3 years now since replacing Trey Wingo in that role. And Marchand was just like hammering him on Twitter because Greenberg constantly was saying the exact phrase, "The picks are coming in fast and furious," which I get, you know, criticizing. If you say it too much, it's not even creative or anything like that. B, they're really not. They're on a timer. The timer's on the screen. It's not like they're catching you by surprise. You know when the picks are coming. But anyways, I quote tweeted Marchand and just said, him pointing out my crutch phrases in a broadcast one day is honestly like that's big goals. I would like,
Yeah.
What a good position to be in, right? Like Mike Greenberg does not care what he.
Well, I can think of other catchphrases that Mike Greenberg says more often than that one.
Oh yeah, back and better than ever.
Back and better than ever. He says that one every day.
It's
Well,
there are some cheapies.
At some point, it's kind of intentional, you know?
Yeah, no, it is. I don't know that the Fast and Furious thing was because the back and better than ever has just like been his thing since Mike and Mike.
R.I.P.
But yeah, no.
All right, so I commented that and I said, I wonder what the three of us or maybe those listening might say are our fallback crutch phrases. And I'm curious if anybody wants to call their own out before maybe one of us said, and this is in a good way because I think if anything, the ones that I thought of about the two of you, and I'm sure I say things on repeat half the time and hear myself later. I'm like, oh God, I said that a lot. So I can call myself out on playing these. But that being said, these are not like bad things. I think these are just maybe things that the three of us maybe say more often than not when it comes to our show. So I'm just curious. And also, Darren, you're doing radio and calling games and other things.
Yeah, well,
you're going to have more airtime to have more of these.
You guys are catching me on a day after a full weekend of like cutting new reels. So
you heard yourself.
I'm annoyed with myself. I heard myself too much, and I'm annoyed with myself. And even like hearing myself talk right now, I'm like, "You stupid idiot with that stupid voice! Quit it."
Hey, but at least you have a voice this week.
I do.
No,
true. It's true. I'm trying to think if there was anything in particular. In these, I was annoyed that most of the home runs, or a lot of the home runs that I called this season, because I clustered those up. I was annoyed that so many of them were like similar in cadence, but that's just a thing. I'm getting way inside my own head
long one left field
for the people here. We don't need that. All You know one that kills me.
Okay.
There are people who do this just like in everyday conversation too. They will preface a statement with, here's the thing. Or, well, that's the thing. The thing is, just say the thing. We don't need to know that you're like, we don't. Here comes a thing before you say it. You don't need to announce the entrance of a thing.
I'm loving your sound effects
sometimes
today.
a thing needs an emphasis.
Okay. And
say it after the fact.
And as someone who says that from time to time, because I believe that I am one of those people that will say, oh, that's the thing. And for me, it's at least my opinion is that might be something that some people would say to make sure that they're not cutting off someone else. So it's like, hey, it's my turn to say something.
No, don't believe it.
Okay.
If
that would be my coping mechanism.
Put your hand up and say, it's my turn to say something. And then say the thing. Don't say that the thing is coming.
I'm going to say that the rest of our show today.
I used to have a
Max, it is my turn.
Okay, you keep going. That's fine.
Go ahead,
now here's the thing.
I used to have a coworker who had a crutch phrase. His crutch phrase was to be brutally honest. Right? He would just answer questions with oh, well, to be brutally honest, no matter how mundane or inane the next statement was going to be.
Pizza.
Not being brutally honest. Not being honest.
Yeah, like I remember distinctly being at a gathering with him and somebody asking him like what he was going to eat for breakfast the next morning. And he was like, well, to be brutally honest, probably some toast and some eggs. And the person responded and just said, yeah, that was brutal. And it was just an excellent call out of a crutch phrase.
That's good.
See, I feel that and maybe y'all probably back me up on this. It's not even a phrase. It's my crutch for anything is that like dead air. I end up trying to laugh off more often than I should. And I hate hearing myself do that. Because I'll say something and I'll be like, oh God, nobody's saying anything. And I'll just kind of fill the air a bit because I don't do well with awkward silence.
Yeah, my one of the lessons I taught myself early on was that my sense of humor is one that like sometimes takes a minute for people to get. So if I get caught laughing at my own jokes, because I know it's funny, but if I start laughing before they realize it's funny, it doesn't play off as well. So I have to tell a lot of jokes and then just complete dead eyes, straight face. And
there's a point to be made here. And so, as it pertains to like whether it's us doing the show or again, I was doing reels and I did our friend Brian Geisinger and I did that ACC tournament game on 99.9 The Fan.
The one like 2 years ago or the one
most recently?
Most recently. Okay.
Like 2 months ago or whatever.
Okay.
And we had Syracuse and it was at the point in play where I had sort of let it breathe a little bit because they're walking it up the floor. The opposition, whoever that was, I can't remember.
Wasn't it Miami?
Was this the Buddy Boeheim Florida State? The Florida State?
It was. Yes, it was.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember listening to you guys do that one.
So BG goes, oh, major surprise here, Darren. Syracuse running a zone. And he like hit it with such an intense tone that I recognized what he was doing, but I still was taken aback. And so I just like paused. And I'm glad I did because it just let it sort of breathe. And then we laughed it off. And he was like, obviously that's a joke. And he just goes into this like quirky thing where he's like, Syracuse always plays a zone. And then we just get right back into the stream of play. So there's value in silence would be the
sure.
lesson.
Yeah. I think to bring it back to hockey, I think one of the people that I love and missed having around as much as I love how well Mike does calling games for the Hurricanes, John Forsland always did that very well. Trip Tracy is a really good color commentator, really says a lot of funny things, but John would always let them breathe and he would say dead air silent after Trip would say something.
Yeah, no, you got to receive them because you can't. You get on,
and then he'd be like, "All right, now back to the game." He'd
Yeah.
be like,
exactly. You got to play this. You got to play the straight man to a degree. All right. Well, anyways, that's.
Well, Darren, I was going to say one thing that I do think that you will say, and I love it when you say it because it's if I ever get you to say it, I'm like, yes, I said something that's good.
Okay.
If I ever hear Darren say yes, 100%, I'm like, yes, nailed it. Whatever I just said was
yes,
good.
100%. I do.
Yes.
I do say 100%.
But I love it though because I'm like, all right, I'm on track today.
Yeah. See, so it's not me being overly dependent on a phrase.
No.
It's me communicating to those around me that they have said good things. And like, if you vary your speech too much, then it's just not going to ever come off as, hey, you said a good thing.
Validation.
It's
I crave it.
Yeah. That's what we're going to go with. It's me serving the people around me.
That's
when
it.
I say that. 100%. 100%.
All right, let's move on into overrated, underrated, or properly rightly rated for this week. And the first one, of no surprise, position players pitching. I wonder why my boy Albert Pujols getting out there to pitch.
Kind of hard to believe he had never been put in that position.
You would,
because he's been versatile his whole career.
Sure.
You guys remember there was a spring training game they put him in at shortstop, like back in 2010.
He played a lot of different positions early on.
Yeah, I mean, he played some third base. When he was
third
younger.
base, he was a left fielder coming up. From being a rookie, he played.
And again, I distinctly remember a spring training game where they put him in at shortstop, just sort of like for fun to see him do it. And he made this little backhanded stab at it, and obviously he's got the arm for it because he had played third some not too long before that. So yeah, no, it's a little surprising to me that they've never done this with him before, but they also have not ever really had managers to adopt the philosophy when you're down.
And I think that maybe it's happened before, obviously, but with Albert not being on an NL team up until recently with the DH, I can't remember. Was he a DH the other night or did he enter in? Can't remember. I want to say he played the other night, but it would depend on the DH rules in Major League Baseball. Maybe I should have looked this up before I said this, but if you're the DH, you can't play in the field unless you take away a position player, if I remember correctly.
I think that's right. Is if the DH gets put into the game to play the field, that means the pitcher has to hit
the rest of the way. So that's what I thought. So that could be a reason why, especially since he was with the Angels for 10 years and early on with the Cardinals, he was the best player in baseball, arguably, for the 10 years he was with, or 11 years he was with the Cardinals prior. So I could see why maybe they wouldn't want him out on the mound to possibly get hurt.
Yeah. And there weren't many games. I mean, he wasn't always good with the Angels, but there weren't many games he wouldn't have been in the lineup unless he was hurt. So
that very end.
Yeah.
But okay, who was your favorite position player to have pitched ever? One comes to mind for me.
Probably Rick Ankiel.
Yes, that's a good one. Rick Ankiel.
But you see what I did?
No, see, he was a pitcher to play a position.
Yes, and not only did he play the position, he played the position well. I watched the highlight reel of him the other day. He did. He did.
Yeah.
And he was also not a bad hitter, which helps. But dude out of cannon, obviously, he was a pitcher. But I watched a highlight reel of him the other day. Just randomly showed up on YouTube, throwing people out from the middle of the outfield, throwing frozen ropes to home plate.
Oh man, that just reminded me. I think we talked about this last season. I told y'all about the Dave Burba highlight video that one time that I watched that one time, right?
I want to say that sounds familiar.
Oh man, is it incredible! Some Cleveland baseball fan put together a highlight reel of Dave Burba with just like incredible background music. It was. I'll have to go find that sometime. It's amazing. I think we've discussed.
It's because Cleveland has the classiest or the best fans in baseball.
for sure.
No other organization's fans are doing highlight reel work to that caliber. Dave Burba to just something super hype.
It is
Darren,
so good, guys.
Darren, do you have anybody?
Man, this the Anthony Rizzo, Freddie Freeman moment last season was really good. It's tough to beat Brett Phillips. Like it's become a thing with him now, and he loves doing it. Like he's fired up to do it every time, and then he makes the diving track at the diving grab at the warning track in foul ground. The last time he did it pre Rendon. No, it's got to be Brett Phillips. He's making a run at like best position player pitcher ever.
Yeah, he's good.
Okay.
Do I think?
Besides, I would assume you mean besides Ohtani.
Well, no, that's not even the same thing. Ohtani's a pitcher. But he's also a position player.
Isn't that what you just said?
No,
you know what he means, Mark.
Technicalities.
You're being an agitator. You're being a real Brad Marchand right now.
Brad Marchand, not the other Marchand.
Not Andrew.
Okay. My favorite one was Ichiro. Ichiro getting in there, and I think if I remember correctly, he was in the 80s throwing gas.
He threw out a first pitch opening night for the Mariners and pumped it at like 81.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I'm curious of is so many of these players, I was going to say this earlier, that have entered, you got to think they can throw harder than 50 miles an hour, right? But they always end up, it's like little loafing fastball going right there. It's like the slowest thing ever.
It's about locating it to a large degree because
but I feel like
if you go up there and rip it, somebody who throws it 90 miles per hour across the infield on average or whatever, you got to think it's a different motion than just standing flat footed on the rubber or even a wind up. It's a different motion. So it's like athletically, it's just not one that they're used to. They could let it rip and throw it that fast, but they probably aren't used to it body wise. And again, you're already in a blowout game. You're not trying to get hurt.
Right. You're
just there to stem the tide.
Sure. I'm curious that you would think most Major League Baseball players just throwing catch are probably throwing in you're talking 70s, 80s at least, just throwing back and forth with no effort.
I mean, yeah, like 70, right? Like I think most guys could go up there and just like literally step, point, throw, and hit 70.
Right. I just wish I could see that more often from a pitcher or a position player as a pitcher. But anyway, back to the original question: overrated, underrated, rightly rated on this topic. Darren.
It feels weird to say anything but underrated because this is just like it's so fun when this happens. But I think rightly rated. People react accordingly to the like when Pujols took the mound. Like people stopped and what they were doing, and like
they watched it
on Twitter. They were setting off alarms. Right on Twitter, it was like
I got texts, a lot of texts.
This is not a drill. Pujols is pitching for the first time in his career, so I think it's rightly rated.
I'd agree with that. I want to see Daniel Vogelbach pitch. That's what we need to see.
Yes. Ooh, another one in the conversation of favorites, Willians Astudillo.
Oh yeah, he's been good. Well, he's the guy that was pitching last year against the White Sox when they hit that 3-0 grand slam or something, right?
That was your mean Mercedes
and then
home run.
La Russa threw him under the bus. That was what that whole thing was, right?
Yep.
It's because he stopped being around the best fans in baseball, so he turned into a crotchety old man.
I got news for you, Mark. La Russa has been a crotchety old man since before he was even an old man, really.
The last thing I would add to the discussion is most of the time you don't see position players come in to pitch unless their team is losing by a ton.
Yeah.
This was the opposite. I don't think I've seen that hardly as often, that a position player would come in to pitch when your team is up that big. That was kind of cool to see. The game was in doubt, though. That's why you got to save. My book.
No, he literally didn't get a save.
Actually, did
Got
not.
one in my book, Max.
You didn't even get his ERA right. Okay,
Right now.
we're wiping the save from the realm of
It's
possibility.
a good thing this isn't live. Oh wait. All
Do
right.
we have comments? Has anybody said anything to us?
Not yet. Not
This
yet.
has been a lawless episode. We've just gone a number of directions.
Sure. First person to comment. I don't know. We'll give you a shout out on Twitter. Okay.
Big time.
Big-
Ooh.
I don't have any stuff to give away right now.
Mm.
All right. All right. Next up on overrated, underrated, or properly rightly rated, we have hits. Now, you might be asking yourself, we talked about position players, but pitching and now hits. What's up with the boring
Not boring,
topics?
Mark. Not boring.
Max, tell us why hits is on here.
You don't need hits. The Pittsburgh Pirates proved yesterday, Sunday afternoon, that no longer does a team need a hit to win a ball game. So obviously, hits are overrated. I
You
think that's
never
the answer
needed
here.
hits. This has
The
happened
Pittsburgh
before.
Pirates have shown that they are one of the best teams in baseball. What are probably one of the top 6 teams in baseball history, honestly, because only 6 teams have ever won a game without getting a hit. So yeah, the 2022 Pittsburgh Pirates will go down as a top 6 historically great baseball team.
I told you in the text thread or whatever it was that the Pittsburgh Pirates should be America's team of destiny and fun. Why not?
Who's fun on the Pittsburgh Pirates?
Right. They're not in last place like
Right, that doesn't
a
make them
lot of
fun.
people thought they would be,
Sure.
self included.
Orioles also not in last place. Like
Hey,
bad teams
aren't the
are
Red
like
Sox
not.
still in last place?
Yeah, the bad teams
bad.
in baseball are like
Well, the
across
Reds are
the
bad.
board, not quite as bad as we thought they would be. And the Reds, it's just like
The Reds are bad.
it's on the nose. Like they're but they're trying to be.
Sure.
With the Pirates and Orioles and some others, the A's, they're trying to like give off the vibe that we're still trying to win games.
Like, okay, but like how long into the season or how many games under 500 can you be and still say, oh yeah, they're still hovering around 500? Like,
I think you lose that.
are the 15 and 19 Pittsburgh Pirates hovering around 500?
Albert Pujols is hovering around a 36 ERA. 54,
Yeah, see,
36.
I like this
Just
question, Max, because I'd be interested to know how many times they won 4 consecutive games last year.
That's a great question.
Like
Probably
maybe
no.
once or twice.
I think my answer to the question is no, they are not hovering around 500. And
Yeah.
I think part of that is because they've really been hovering in the like 4 to 8 games under 500. Like
Yeah.
4 games under 500 is about as good.
So
as
they're
they
like
get.
hovering around 400.
Yeah. They're 441 right now.
Yeah, they're hovering around 400 is what they've been doing.
But
450.
okay.
They're
So
hovering
are
around
Are the
450.
16 and 19 Atlanta Braves hovering around 500?
No, because
I'd
they
say
have not. They have not been on the other side of 500.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
See, if you're
Yeah.
hovering around, you're sort of bouncing up and down over and under the line.
Yeah, I think
That's what that
you're
means.
I think you're correct. So yeah, I guess this will be our new weekly segment is the teams hovering around 500 report. Here are teams hovering around 500. I've got I'll say 17 and 18 Philadelphia Phillies. They're
That's a
hovering
good
around
hover.
500.
Yeah, and they've been, as of a couple games ago, they were
Right.
above. That's the perfect one. Yeah.
And then we've got the Arizona Diamondbacks at 18 and 17, Colorado Rockies at 500, 17 and 17, Toronto 18 and 17.
That's surprising.
2 teams from the AL Central, the White Sox and the Cleveland, are both 16 and 17, and thus concludes the hovering around 500 report.
Thank
The
you for that report, Max.
hoverers.
The hoverers.
The hoverers. That is a band tee that I would wear
Yeah.
without knowing
That's
the band.
we should get that officially sponsored by Back to the Future 2.
The hoverers.
Yeah.
So I think our collective answer there is that hits are overrated. right?
Yeah. Do you know how many ways you can reach base
Thanks for keeping us back on.
without
us back
getting a
on.
hit? You're actually doing a great job today, Mark. It's good. It's uncharacteristically good, actually.
Oh wow! Oh, thank you. Hey, 100%.
Do you know how many ways you can reach base without getting a hit?
Walk, hit by pitch, reaches on error,
Drop
strikeout
third
swinging,
strike.
yeah,
We're on the same. Max.
ground into a fielder's choice. Does
Bunt.
that improve your OBP though?
Bunt.
Well, a bunt would be a hit.
Not necessarily. Could be a fielder's choice as well.
Well, but then
Well,
that
you
was
said
covered by
fielder's
what I just said.
It's covered.
But I'm pretty sure you said swinging, but I could be wrong.
He didn't say swinging.
I'm wrong.
He
Also.
said grounding at ground.
How are you going to ground? How are you going to ground a bunt? A bunt
Where-
is a
what
bunt.
is the
It's not
bunt
a ground
hit?
ball.
That's That's what a bunt is.
Are you
Ground.
kidding me? No. A bunt is a bunt. A ground ball is a ground ball. You don't go out there and hit bunts to people for fielding practice. You go out there and hit ground balls to people.
Yeah,
for
but a
fielding
bunt is a
practice.
ground ball. It's like a square and a
If you-
rectangle.
As long as you don't botch the bunt and pop it up. Yeah, a bunt is a ground ball.
The bunt is a bunt.
Okay, hold on. How hard hit, how fast off the bat does it have to be to constitute being a ground ball?
The one where if you strike out or you bunt the third strike is an out versus a ground ball strike on third isn't a strikeout. It's the same. Like they're two different things.
All right, we're putting it on the poll. Is a bunt a ground ball?
If you bunt on two strikes,
a ball on the
on two
ground
strikes,
in
on two
fair
strikes.
in fair ground.
but we're not adding that caveat. If it's two strikes and you bunt a ball foul, you're out. If you ground a ball with two strikes, you're not out. Two distinctions.
No, I understand what you're saying, but that's not what we're arguing.
Aren't we? They're two different things.
No, they're not. They're
They're not.
both ground balls. Ground
Oh.
balls are ground balls. Also, bunts are ground balls.
It's the means by which you ground it foul.
I can't wait to log into my several Twitter accounts and vote in favor of bunt being a bunt.
And then you cheat.
You think a bunt is an entirely separate thing than
Yes.
a ground ball? What happens after it hits the bat? Mark?
It can pop up like you said.
It's a
It can
ground
pop up like
ball.
you said. It can pop up. It can
I'm not
be
hurt-
caught. It could be a ground ball. It could go
Okay, hold
directly
on.
on the plate.
You're making your arguments. Let me do this one, okay?
Okay.
A bunted ball
Getting out of
to
hand.
the third baseman
Okay.
who digs it up, makes a throw to first. How do you score it officially? It's a ground ball.
It's a
5-3.
put out.
It's a
5-3
5-3
ground
put out, the same as a ground ball. All right, this conversation's over. Let's move on. What's next? What are we
This
rating?
conversation is not over because if you go into any type of stat keeping thing as a coach, which I have done, a bunt is completely separate than a ground ball.
No, you can
Bunt is a ground
notate.
ball.
You can notate that it was bunted.
But if you can notate it, it's different.
You can also notate that it was a ground ball to second base or a ground ball to shortstop or a ground.
Yeah.
Let's see what the ball
Those
says.
are notations. You score it the same. A bunted ball on the ground is a ground ball. Is a bunted ball in the air not a pop up?
It is.
Oh goodness! All right, so we're gonna leave that one to the good folks on Twitter to find out. Hopefully, Elon will get on there and give us a like.
No, tell him to stay away. Stay in space next time. Stay away from my poll.
All right, last
Our
up on overrated, underrated, or rightly rated. Skylines, because as Max so greatly pointed out prior to the show, that so many great baseball stadiums out there have awesome skylines, and I'll get to see one in a couple weeks, and I'm so excited about it. So Skylines,
Are you going to Charlotte or?
yes, I am. How'd you know? You go watch the Charlotte Knights play. Actually, it's
They've
a
got a great
nice looking
skyline.
stadium. It really is.
Well, the ACC baseball tournament is there next week, so
I got
Oh,
mine.
nice.
I got my media
be
credential
there, so-
pass, or I got the opportunity to sign up for it if I was so pleased, but I'm not going to.
Through whom?
The ACC, baby.
Nice. Were you going to go and represent the 8?
Well, I'm not going to, but I could if I
Dang
wanted
it,
to.
Max. Missed opportunity.
I have
No, but-
before.
Skylines at baseball stadiums. Overrated, underrated, rightly rated. There. All right, let's go with Max first this time. Max.
Look, y'all are gonna think that I'm gonna be pro Skyline because I'm such a big Pittsburgh Pirates fan, and they know
They've
we
got-
have
It's a nice
Great.
one of the best views of a skyline in sports. But I'm actually going to just go with skyline views from ballparks kind of overrated. Like,
what?
Look, I know that camera phone technology has come a long way, but if you're really going to get a good photo of the skyline at a ballpark, like, you kind of need to be a professional. Like, my iPhone doesn't take good photos. I can't quite get everything in the frame that I want to be in the frame. I am much more interested in like the interesting edible opportunities I might have at a ballpark than I am at like looking out at the pretty castle-shaped building over the Allegheny River.
Edible opportunities, you said.
You're talking Coors Field specifically? What are we doing?
Maybe. No, I'm just talking about, I'm much more interested when teams and ballparks have like interesting things on in their concession stands than I am in the skyline.
Okay, no, I think that's fair. I'm going to give it a rightly rated as well. I think they are properly received. People love them for what they are, which is very, very nice, very cool things to look at. However, there are ballparks out there that have different views. Such as, have you guys ever seen BYU's baseball field?
I have not.
Well,
maybe isn't it like it's a very beautiful like mountain line or something?
It is a mountain range.
Yeah.
In
Which
place of Mark, find it, share it.
Doing it.
Let's do that. But like, as long as this doesn't count as a skyline, like give me this 100 times out of 100.
Oh, wow.
That's going on the poll too. Is a mountain range of skyline.
Right? I don't know. Like by definition, can a mountain range be a skyline? Does skylines have to be like buildings, metropolitan areas? It's just things that are way up in the air and make for a nice view. That could be it.
All right, here we go.
Anyways,
let's put it up there.
This to me is a good example of what else you could have at a park. Now, like around here, I do games, and these are college games, obviously, so you don't have seats in the outfield. Like, look at that.
That's
Gorgeous.
pretty cool. That's
I mean,
cool.
I've never been there, but I for sure want to go to a game there. Like that looks awesome. I don't know if there's anything else to do outside. Probably not because it's BYU. But
yeah, you're probably not drinking a beer at that game.
That's all right. Like to take that in, give me that. It's just that right there. Love mountains, big mountains guy.
So
I'm way crunchier than I present.
I would give these, and this is mainly for probably because I just haven't been to enough stadiums that I'm still in that little kid mindset when it comes to going to Major League Baseball stadiums. This is going to be my first time going to Busch Stadium, so I'm super excited. Whenever I got the tickets, I specifically got them behind the plate, not so I could be close to the game. That's important, but mainly because I wanted to see the skyline. So I would put these as underrated, but that's mostly because I haven't seen a whole lot of them. So looking forward to getting that opportunity.
I get that. Oh, I get it.
That'll do it for overrated, underrated, or rightly rated. All right. Last segment.
I'll be sure, Max, by the way, when I'm at the ACC tournament next week, I will be certain to take a photo on
Post all those photos.
My phone.
I follow you on all the things, so I'll see them.
Yeah, you'll see them. So, but just to show you that, I don't know, maybe I could take a decent one.
I do think that my phone camera is messed up. I will. I think I have a little crack on my lens.
I got one of the new guys here with like 3 daddies on there. Like I don't even know. I'm convinced I don't even know what this thing's capable of yet. One of these I think shoots a laser, so we'll see. TBD. I might blast the top of a building in Charlotte when I try.
All right, it's time for everybody's favorite segment, the baseballreference.com nickname game. And wait for it. We have
I have no idea what this song is.
talking about nicknames, so there you go.
Yeah. All right. The Baseball Reference nickname game. These are nicknames assigned to players, current Major League Baseball players, according to BaseballReference.com. The premise is that, well, a lot of the time they assign names that no one ever calls these players. So this is our way of trying to prove that wrong or right. The first nickname for you gentlemen today, and this is a nickname, David Bird, B-U-R-D.
David Bird, B-U-R-D.
David Bird shows up under the nicknames category for this Major League player.
Current player, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we have not even begun to delve into.
So it's not Dave Burba.
No.
Would be a good guess. Bird. David Bird.
Just trying to think of people named David.
I usually try to have an explanation for these. I have no clue why this is this person's nickname. No clue. He has another one that's going to be a little more obvious that I can
Please give us that one.
as a hint.
I got nothing.
David Fletcher.
Incorrect.
Shoot.
This player also goes by, apparently, according to BaseballReference.com, Big D. Which is going to throw you off because, well, David starts with a D, but what do you think of when you think Big D?
So I'm going to guess that's not his
I'd
name
rather
isn't
not
David.
answer that, I don't think.
The Big D as a nickname for a person, place, or thing.
Dallas? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, okay, Dallas. Yep. And
Dallas Keuchel. Is that David Bird? Is Dallas Keuchel?
is it?
David Bird is Dallas Keuchel,
Wow.
now of the Chicago White Sox. I don't
Who
know.
knew?
Don't know. All right.
Isn't Dallas Keuchel, is he married to somebody?
Yeah, he
Of
just
note?
recently married
Probably Nash from the
you-
MLB Network.
Yeah. She
Okay.
used to work for MLB Network, and then I think recently came back.
Fun fact. Next one.
The next one, sort of a similar theme here with actual names being nicknames. Cody Love.
Cody Bellinger.
Yeah, it's Cody Bellinger.
Well, that was a good one.
Did you just know that one?
No,
have you
that's
ever
just
called?
first Cody that came to mind.
See,
Yeah.
I thought I was going to throw you guys off because I went with a David who is actually a Dallas. So I thought
Yeah.
putting those in that sequence, it was going to throw you off and off of the scent of.
I've got to find out why
Cody.
David Bird is his nickname.
So Cody Love is apparently a nickname for Cody
Sure.
Bellinger, which, anyways.
I get it. You know, his name is Cody. People love him.
Yeah, I get it. I sort of. All right, this is the last one. We've only got one more. And then I've actually got one that I'm not going to quiz you guys on, but I'm going to inform you of because I learned about it watching a broadcast this week, and it was kind of a cool thing. The last one is Stickman.
Stickman. Chris Sale.
That's it.
That's a great guess.
You nailed it.
That was
It's
it?
Chris Sale. He started
Well,
throwing again, so he's
He's a
expected
skinny
to
son of a
come back
gun.
and pitch soon. Chris Sale, I had two more loaded up in the chamber here. He also goes by the Condor, according
I've
to
heard that
Baseball
one.
Reference,
I've heard that
and
one before.
the Conductor.
Oh,
I've not heard that one.
maybe
Also
his
the hover.
wound up makes it look like
JK, he's not the hoverer,
he ought to be.
but
Neither
yeah.
are the Red Sox.
I'm surprised he doesn't have a nickname pertaining to tearing sleeves off of jerseys, because that was a thing he did with the White Sox. Remember they had those new uniforms or whatever, and he hated them, so he literally ripped the sleeves off of his. This was before he had the big falling out with them and left the organization. Wild thing.
Right. So
I think I was reading something recently where one of his teammates kept that torn jersey, and I can't remember who that was now.
That's a good piece of just a good memento to have.
Yeah, right.
I would love a sleeve from that jersey. That's a great piece of memorabilia.
Following up here, Dallas Keuchel wanted to go, and this is the ends that baseballreference.com goes to get nicknames for people. Dallas Keuchel for Players Weekend put the name David Bird on his jersey as a thank you to a player to a coach who had been with the Houston Astros organization since the late 80s.
So hold on. So Dallas Keuchel, and I'm not questioning Keuchel's decision here. Keuchel put another person's name on his Players Weekend jersey, and baseballreference.com took that to mean we should put that as this guy's nickname. This is the most proof positive case of the Baseball Reference nickname game ever. It's literally someone else's name.
Well, now we know.
Fascinating. All right,
Can't find any reason why Cody Love is what it is, but there are quite a few Pinterest and eBay and other listings for shirts with Cody Bellinger's face on it with the name Cody Love. So apparently that's common knowledge.
Are they bohemian in nature? Are the designs? Are they?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, kind of.
Sort of a dude love situation.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Okay, I wonder if there's a connection there. Anyways, so one that I heard, Joe Davis and Oral Hershiser were talking about this on a Dodgers broadcast. Radio is Anser Alberto's nickname, and he got it as a kid in the Dominican Republic because he's a recent acquisition for the Dodgers, sort of like making his way into this utility role. Sometimes he starts, sometimes he doesn't. He's been a pretty good contributor for them. His dad is a broadcaster back in the Dominican Republic. So like he would show up at the park with his dad and the players would all refer to him as radio. And it's just become a thing through or up until now. And he's in the bigs and he's radio. And apparently he's like a super like bouncy personality, kind of talks a lot anyway. So it makes sense. So yeah, no, that was a good one that I didn't feel the need to quiz you guys on it, but it was a cool little
Now
note.
we know. Sweet. Anybody else got anything else? While you're looking to answer the question, we've got over there the hat. Go get it at sportschannel8thestore.com.
I can't believe
It's over here somewhere.
it is
Right there. It's covering Darren's nickety knacks.
Yeah, it's covering actually today. It is covering Sammy Sosa and Carlos Martinez. Hold on.
Wait.
Cardinal great Carlos Martinez.
Cardinal great Carlos Martinez. They did a series of these at Busch Stadium, and I found one at a yard sale. But they had 4 different hair colors for him because
That's awesome.
That's his thing. And I got one with blue hair. So if you've got the pink, blonde, or purple or green, I think there was
tweet it at Darren because he'll appreciate it.
Yeah, let me know. Let me see it.
Breaking news! Breaking news here in baseball: the Pirates have a hit in the 5th inning of tonight's game.
And they're still on last place.
They'll probably lose.
They're losing 9-0, but they do have a hit.
That's insane. So quickly before we just jump off of here, I love baseball. Like the idea that you can not get a hit one night
and win
and then hit the next night and lose miserably, or like the Reds didn't give up a hit and the Reds didn't give up a hit and lost. But then the night
8
before
innings
that,
of no hit baseball.
Yeah, but the night before that, they gave up 11 runs and won.
It's wild.
What a beautiful game.
What a beautiful game.
Damn, what a beautiful game.
That's a good way to end it. For Max Gongabert, for Darren Vaughn, I'm Mark Wood. Thanks for joining us. You can find our replays, I guess, on Spotify. You can find us here on Twitter. You can find Darren on his Twitter account because he doesn't have access to the Sports Channel CF Twitter account. But you can find me and Max there, and you can go and tweet at Darren about his Carlos Martinez bobblehead. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time on Sports Channel, the Baseball Podcast. We're out.
Bye-bye.
Baseball.
When you've got a great ball club,
Baseball.
when you're leaving it all on the field,
Ooh, baseball.
like your team's chances
Baseball.
to survive and advance in.
Baseball.
For the teams you love and the teams you love to hate. Oh, it's Sports Channel 8.
The Baseball Podcast.
Sports Channel 8.
The Baseball Podcast. Hey. Hey. Hey.